There's a very interesting verse in Isaiah 28:15. So I'm going to read it in the NASB, and then I'm going to read it in the NLT. In the NASB, it says this: because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with Sheol we have made a pact. The gushing flood will not reach us when it passes by, because we have made falsehood our refuge, and we have concealed ourselves with deception. Now, this is how the NIV translates that verse. It says, you boast, we have struck a bargain to cheat death, and have made a deal to dodge the grave. The coming destruction can never touch us, for we have built a strong refuge made of lies and deception. And so the idea here in this text, as some theologians postulate, that these people here used magic, used witchcraft, used, the occult, certain parts of it, to cheat death, to make a pact with the enemy to keep them alive. And you say, well, that sounds a bit nuts. That's a bit crazy. Like, how do you do that? And it's interesting, because when you look at our modern day today, those of you that have the conspiracy theory bent to you, as I do, and you hear about the elites and this desire, this insatiable desire to, find the fountain of youth, to be able to live forever. And you hear a lot of, again, certain practices involving, let's say, infants, certain things that they do in hopes of injecting the fountain of youth inside of them to help them live forever. There's this push amongst certain elites where this is the ultimate goal, getting to a place where we can live forever. And then you throw in AI, you throw in transhumanism into the mix. They're trying to cheat death, trying to make a pact to cheat death. And so this is why this is interesting, why reading some of these thoughts from certain theologians, where that's what was happening in this particular verse. These people had made a pact with death itself, made a pact with the dark side, so as to find a way to live forever. I don't know. It's interesting when you look at some of the stuff that's out there, and you see where technology is going, and you see where and as we get into this more and more in future episodes, just the darkness that's out there and technology that's out there and how it's being used. I don't know. Can it happen? I personally, as of right now, I feel like, I'm going to say no. I can't see it. I still think that God's in control. And so I think that when God says enough is enough, it's enough. I don't think you can cheat or thwart the hand of God, but that doesn't mean that they don't stop trying to do that. And it doesn't mean that things can be created, technology created for the purposes of reaching that desired end, and then causing a whole bunch of people to be sucked into that false ideology. You know what I mean? And so I think that it may not be real, but a lot of people seem to think it's real and want it to be real. And when you look at what we've already talked about in this episode with the kingdom of darkness and the demonic power and influence that is there, I don't know. It's enough for commentators to postulate upon. So I will leave that with you, and maybe we can discuss this more in a further episode.